Greetings, my fellow infidels and fellow patriots. In recent days, we've heard all kind of talk from the president threatening executive action against our Second Amendment. Need I remind you, Obama is following in the footsteps of Adolf Hitler. In 1933, Adolf Hitler said, "To enslave a nation, you must first disarm its citizens." Only a few years later, he said, "For the first time in history, a civilized nation has full gun registration, and that our streets will be safer and our police more effective." People, again, Obama is America's Hitler. So I am going to tell you what our response should be. I openly advocate armed, deadly, and lethal force against any future national gun confiscation on American citizens. People, this man is a traitor. This man has done more to damage the freedoms of this nation and hurt America than the attacks of 9/11. So, it is time, America, to speak plainly for the good citizens and patriots of this nation who believe unbendingly in the Constitution of these United States of America. Though foreign governments may disarm their subjects, we will not go down that road. We will not disarm and see our freedom stripped away. The lessons of history are numerous. They are clear and they are bloody. A disarmed population eventually becomes an enslaved population. A disarmed population is without power, reduced to a childlike obedience and dependence upon the organs of a parental state. A disarmed population becomes again an enslaved population. A disarmed population will lose either piecemeal or in one sweeping act those basic rights for which the citizens of America gave their lives, fortune, and sacred honors over 234 years ago. We will not disarm the right to self-protection, the internal directive of every living creature, be it mouse or man, is the most fundamental right of all. It is a right that must be exercised against the predators of the streets and against the predators hidden within agencies of law enforcement and against the most dangerous predators of all, those to be found in government, whose insidious grasping for power is relentless and never-ending. We will not disarm, not in the face of robbers, rapists, and murderers who prey upon our family, who prey upon our friends, nor in the face of police and bureau agents who would turn a blind eye to the Constitution, who would betray the birthright of their countrymen, nor in the face of politicians of the lowest order, those who pander to the ignorant, the weak, the fearful, the naive, those indebted to a virulent strain of the rich, who insulate themselves from the danger imposed upon other Americans. Then they preach disarmament. We will not surrender our handguns, we will not surrender our hunting arms, and we will not surrender our firearms of military pattern or military utility, nor the proper furnishings, nor the right to buy, the right to sell, or to manufacture such items. Firearms of military utility, such as the one I'm holding now, which serve well and nobly in times of social disturbance, and are tools of defense for the law-abiding. They also serve in the quiet role of prevention against both the criminal and the tyrannical. An armed citizenry, the well-regulated militia, the Second Amendment, properly armed with military firearms, is a powerful deterrent on both the conscious and subconscious levels to those inclined toward government usurpation. An armed citizenry stands as a constant reminder to those in power that though they may violate our rights temporarily, they will not do so endlessly and without consequence. Our firearms, our Second Amendment, is to protect us against tyranny and government. Should Americans again be confronted with the necessity of, may God forbid it, and it's looking more and more like that every day, throwing off the chains of a tyrannical and suffocating regime, firearms to answer that particular demands of warfare will provide the swiftest and most decisive means to this end. Any law which prohibits or limits a citizen's possession of firearms of military utility or their proper furnishings provides an open window through which a corrupt government will crawl to steal away the remainder of our firearms and our liberties. Only corrupt politicians need to fear an armed citizenry. Any law which prohibits or limits a possession of firearms of military utility or their proper furnishings is being directly contrary to the letter and the spirit of the Second Amendment. It is inimical to the Constitution, to these United States of America, and to its citizens. Now, today, we are witnessing perilous times foreseen by the architects of our Constitution. These are times when our government is demanding, in the guise of measures for the common good, such as what the President is doing now, that we relinquish our rights guaranteed to us in the Constitution, foremost among which is a right to keep and bear arms for our own self-defense. These are times when our government has abdicated its primary responsibility to provide for the security of its citizens. Swift and sure punishment of outlaws is absent, and in the place is offered the false remedy of disarming the law-abiding. Where this unconstitutional action has been given the force of law, it has failed to provide relief and has produced greater social discord. The discord, in turn, now serves as the false basis for the demand that we give up our rights, and for the demand for more police, more agents of bureaucratic control to enforce the revocation of these rights. Legislators, justices, and law enforcement officers must bear in mind that the foundation of their duties is to uphold the fundamental law of the land, the Constitution. They must bear in mind that the unconstitutional act of disarming one's fellow citizens will also disarm one's parents, their spouses, their brothers, their sisters, and their children and their children's children. They must bear in mind that there are good citizens who, taking heed of George Washington's belief that arms are the liberty teeth of the people, will not passively allow these teeth to be torn out. There are good citizens who, taking heed of Benjamin Franklin's admonition that those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety, will surrender not one of those rights. Those who eat away at our right to own and use firearms are feeding on the roots of a plant over 2 centuries old, a plant whose blossom is the most free, most powerful nation to ever exist on this planet. The right to keep and bear arms is a taproot of that plant. All other rights were won at the point of a gun, and they will endure only at the point of a gun. Could they speak? Millions upon millions of the world's dead souls would testify to this truth. Millions upon millions of the living can so testify today. Today is a critical moment in history. Will we Americans passively lie down before a government that has grown disdainful of its best citizens, or are we going to declare we are the government and government functions at our behest? and it may not rescind our sacred rights. Will we place our faith in public servants who behave like masters? Or will we place our faith in God and Father of the Lord Jesus Christ? And remember the words and deeds of the daring, far-seeing men and women whose blood, sweat, and tears brought forth this great nation? Will we believe that those who assure us that the police officer will shield us from the criminal? Or will we believe our eyes and ears presented every day with news of our unarmed neighbors falling prey in our homes, on our streets, and in our places of work and play? Will we bow our heads to cowards and fools who will not learn and do not understand the lessons of human history? Or will we stand straight and assume the daily tasks and risks that liberty entails? Will we ignore even the lessons of the present era, which has seen the cruel oppression of millions on the continents of Europe, Asia, Africa, and South America, and yes, now the Middle East? Or will we wisely accept the realities of this world and wisely listen to and make use of precautions provided by our ancestors? Will we be deceived by shameless liars who say that disarmament equals safety, helplessness equals strength, patriotism equals criminality? Or will we mark the words of our forefathers who wrote in plain language, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not and will not be infringed? Let us make known we will choose the latter option in every case. Legislatures, do your duty to your country. Uphold the Constitution as you swore to do. Do not shame yourselves by knocking loose the mighty keystone of this great republic, the right to bear arms. And justices, do your duty to your country. Examine the origins of the right to weaponry and uphold the letter and spirit of the Constitution. Lawmen, do your duty to your country. Do not be misguided and do not be misused. Your task is to serve and to protect, not to oppress. To disarm and to make helpless your countrymen. To the blind and to the ignorant and the apathetic, the safe and sheltered, these may seem to be concerns of another age, but they are not. They are as vital as they have ever been through history. For times may change, but human nature does not. And it is to protect forever against the evil in human nature that the Founding Fathers set aside certain rights as inviolable. For these reasons, I hope many of you will join me, to let our government know that we will not passively take the path that leads to tyranny. We will not go down that road. We will not disarm. I openly state and tell you to prepare that should foreign troops ever move against the American people to enforce either domestic or international law, it is your right and it is your obligation to mow them down and ambush them and take them out. The only authority that we as Americans need to recognize are American citizens. No foreign national on American soil will ever be accepted by a true patriot. They will be targets. If the UN should come on our soil to enforce international law, their blue helmets will serve as trophies on many of our mantles. Gun confiscation will result in a second American Revolution. For the first revolution was sparked by the government moving to confiscate weapons. And it will be the spark that will set the second American Revolution as well. Obama and government officials, if you're seeing this is a symbolic gesture. You may be working to disarm we the people, but don't light the flames of a second American Revolution by attempting to take the liberty teeth of the people. I burn this picture of the traitor-in-chief in defiance, for his policies will set forth the flames of revolution should he attempt to disarm the American public. Politicians, you've been warned.